equals to. Anyone have any kind of idea? Just went and researched. Okay, so you have to remember one thing. In lot of articles or websites, you might find the answer that double equals to will check only values, and triple equals to will check values and types. Okay, this is what answer you will find in lot of articles or from lot of trainers or maybe from someone XYZ. So this answer is absolutely wrong. Okay, completely this answer is wrong. Don't ever give this answer. When it comes to double equals to or triple equals to, in both the operators, your type will be checked. First step it will check the type. First, it will check the type. Okay, then it will check the value. It will check the value. Then what is the difference? What is the difference? Okay, let's try to understand. In double equals to, okay, when it comes to double equals to, first it will check the type. Okay, it will check the type. It will check the type. If type is equal, okay, it will check the type. Suppose if types are equal, if we have same data type, then it will do triple equals to operation. It will do triple equals to operation. Whatever triple equals to do, whatever triple equals to will do, it will do that operation. So now what triple equals to will do? What triple equals to will do? Let's try to understand. When it comes to triple equals to, here it will check the type. It will check the type. If type is not equal, if types are not equal, it will return false. It will return false. Directly it will return false. Apart from that, it will not do anything. If types are equal, then it will check the value. It will check the value. If value are equal, then it will return true, or else it will return false. If values are equal, then it will return true, or else it will return false. Okay. In double equals to, first it will check the types. If both the types are same, then it will do the triple equal to operation. What is triple equal to operation? In triple equals to operation, the same thing. It will check the type. If type are equal, then it will check the value. If values are equal, then it will return true. If values are not equal, it will return false. But if type is not equal, then it will directly return false. It will directly return false. Now in double equals to, if types are not equal, in that case, first it will check the type of left value. It will check the type of left value. If the left value is number, then it will check the type of right value. If the right value is also number, okay, then it will check the values. If left value is string and right value is number, in that case, what it will do, it will change the data type of left value to number. Internally, it will change the data type of string into number. First, it will change the data type of left from string to number. Then it will check both the values. If left is number, right is string, in that case, first it will convert the string into number. Nothing but it will convert the right value into number. Then it will check the value. It will check the value. So this is what double equals to and triple equals to do. In both the cases, types and values will be checked. In double equals to, it will do the type conversion. If you have a string, then it will convert it into a number. If you have a number, it will keep like a number only. After that, it will check the value. It will check the value. But in triple equals to, the first condition should be both the data types should be equal. If both are equal, then it will check the value. It will check the value. So this is the difference between double equals to and triple equals to. Now there can be multiple cases now. When it comes to double equals to, there can be multiple cases. Sometimes your left value can be Boolean, or right value can be Boolean, or sometimes left value can be undefined, or it can be null, or it can be of symbol type, or it can be of big int type. So like this, you can have number of different use cases. In that case, what happens? For that, you have to check its documentation. Okay, so what is the official documentation of your JavaScript? Means it is ECMAScript. Okay, just type ECMA Java documentation. If you click on enter, you will get the first link, ECMA-262. Okay, this is the official documentation of your JavaScript. If you just scroll down a little bit here, okay, here you will find it. If you want, you can just download that official documentation, or if you want to view in the HTML, you can click here, or else you can click on this as well. Okay, now this is the official documentation of your JavaScript. So the people who develop JavaScript, they will be writing here everything about the JavaScript. So whatever you will find here, that is only the right answer. Apart from that, if you find something in any other platforms or on any other websites, don't believe it. If you are finding something contradicting in some other websites, come and check in your official website. If you find same answer in the official website, then only you have to believe, or else you should not believe. So this is the official documentation. Okay, now here I can search. Or here I can search something like this in the abstract operation. Here I will find that information about it. Okay, here. Okay, is loosely equal. Okay, the operator name is loosely equal. That double equals to operator we call as a loosely equal, and triple equals to we call as a strictly equal. Strictly equal. So here they have given entire conditions. Now see, here clearly they have mentioned in this double equals to operator, first they will check the type. They will check the type of X, they will check the type of Y. X means left side value, Y means right side value. Okay, X means left side value, Y means right side value. So here clearly they have mentioned, they will first check the type. They will check the type. Okay, in the same way, if I just go back to this strictly equal, here also they have told. First, they will check the type. If type X is not equals to type Y, it will simply return false. It will simply return false. If you go to this one also, here also, it checks the type X is type Y. Okay, if both are equal, if type X and type Y is written, then it will go to is strict equal. Nothing but it will just compare this part. Triple equals to it will do the comparison of triple equals to. Okay, now the documentation is not that straightforward. So some people who have very weak, if you guys are very weak in English, then it's very difficult for you to understand the documentations. So make sure if you are entering into IT industry, make your English as strong as possible. Okay, you have to work on your English languages. Why I am saying you have to work on English languages? Because once you start working on in your industry, once you start working, then there are a lot of chances that you might work on certain technology or you might work on certain packages, okay, which you never learned. So in that case, you have to go through their documentation. You have to learn exactly how it is working, and then you have to implement it. You have to implement it, and you have to get habituated with this practice. So you have to start doing this practice, read the documentation, understand it, start developing the things. Now here, see, there are this many conditions it will do. It will do nearly. Okay, if I go to this 7.2, here I will find. Now here, see, there are nearly 14 conditions it will check. So if X value is null and Y value is undefined, in that case, what it will do? It will just return true. It will just return true. Suppose if I have here, I will just add double equals to .js. Suppose if you have console.log, and here if you have two variables, var X equals to undefined and var Y equals to null. If you remember, I have told you undefined and nulls are some special values in JavaScript. Now, if you compare this X double equals to Y, in that case, what it returns? What it returns? So here they have given that information in the documentation. If X is undefined and Y is null, in that case, it will return true. It will return true. So you have to just execute it. Node double equal to. Now see, it is returning true. It is returning. So whenever you are exploring any technologies or any programming language or any framework or any library, if you are learning, always keep the habit of reading the documentation. Keep the habit of reading the documentation. Now, if you ask me, like how it is returning true, why it is returning true? If you ask me why it is returning true, if I am passing undefined and null, why it is returning true? Why it is not returning false? Then I cannot answer that. Why I cannot answer? Because this is how they build the JavaScript. This is how they built the JavaScript. If I ask you why sugar is sweet, if I ask you why sugar is sweet, can you answer? Why sugar is sweet? If you ask to the people who prepares this sugar, like if you are asking them why sugar is sweet, then will they be able to answer it? They will say sugar cane is sweet. Now, if you ask why sugar cane is sweet, now you have to ask that question to the nature, because nature created the sugar cane, right? Sugar cane is created by nature. And if you ask nature, nature will ask you to ask that question to the God. Now that's impossible for us, right? So same thing here also. So whenever you are exploring certain programming languages or certain frameworks, you have to follow certain rules. Okay, here the rule is if you compare null and undefined, it will always return true. Now we cannot ask why. If you want to ask why, you have to go to the people who developed this part and you have to ask them. Okay, if they want, they will give the explanation, or else they will not give the explanation. In this case, they didn't given any kind of explanation why it will return true. Okay, there will be certain rules which we have to blindly follow. Now the question is, can we remember this many 14 rules? Can we remember this many 14 rules or something like 15 rules? Answer is, as a developer, you should not remember. You should not remember. Suppose if you get such kind of requirement and if you are not able to predict the answers, then better to go to the documentation and check all the conditions. Now, is it possible for a person to remember this many 14 use cases? Now, this is only for one thing. Like this, you will have multiple use cases for different. So this many things we have. Will you be able to remember this many things? And things will change version to version. As version upgrades, new things will come. Some old things will be deleted. Okay, something new, like old things will be modified. So many things will happen version to version. So as a developer, I will never recommend you guys to remember the things. Whenever you think that you are not able to understand, or if you are not able to remember the things, just go to the documentation and check it. Just go to the documentation and check it. Okay, this is what as a developer you have to do. Because it's impossible for us to remember the things. So now, whenever you guys get the time, just spend some time here. So let me give this link as well. And just check all the different conditions. Okay, if my X value is Boolean, what happens in that case? If my X value, left side value is string, right side value is big int, what happens in that case? So this all are different use cases. Okay, like this, you can have any number of use cases. So like this, here JavaScript is saying that I will check all these 14 cases. Whenever they get some query internally, they will check all these 14 cases. Whichever case matches, they will give that result. Okay, so this is strictly equals is nothing but triple equals to. Here triple equals to. So in triple equals to, it will check 3 cases. But in double equals to, it is checking 14 cases. Like we have 14 different use cases. The concept is very simple. Concept is it will check the type also. It will check the value also. In double equals to, if types are equal, then only it will check value. If type is not equal, it will simply return the false. It will simply return the false if type is not equal. If type are equal, then it will check the value. If values are equal, it will return true, or else it will return false. In double equals to, first it will check the type. If type are equal, whatever triple equals to is doing, it will do the same thing. If type are not equal, then it will check the value of X and value of Y. Now again, depending upon the value of X and Y, it will follow certain cases. So in most probably, we will check, like most of time, you will check number and string. So in this case, your strings are converted into numbers, then those numbers are compared. But there are different use cases. Sometimes you might pass null and you might pass undefined. You might compare undefined and undefined, or you might compare null and null. In that case, what happens? So for that, they have given the documentation. So you have to just learn the documentation. Now, this kind of documentation you will not find on any kind of platform, because this is the official documentation. This is the official documentation. Now, this many concepts we have in the JavaScript. Now, see, in 7.2 only, 7.21, 7.22, like this, we have till 7.2.15. And in 7.1, now see, you have something like this. Nearly you have 7.1.22. Now just imagine if I start teaching you each and everything, then you can just imagine how much long our JavaScript session will take. Okay, so if you go for any course, you will be learning the minimum things required to qualify that technology interviews, or minimum things required to work in the industry. This is what you will learn in any course in the world. No one can teach you entire JavaScript. No one knows actually. Even I don't know entire JavaScript. Even if you ask 20 years person, they also don't know entire JavaScript. Even you work for 20 years, you will also not come to know entire JavaScript. Okay, because things will change, things will get modified, and new things will be added up. So many things will happen. So this is one of the most asked interview question. That is the only reason I have given more stress on this particular part. Okay. Now, if you say this sentence is wrong, if you say this sentence is wrong, and if your interviewer or if your seniors are not believing your words, if they are not believing your words, just open the documentation and show them. Don't argue with them. Just open the documentation and show them. Okay. So this is what you have to do. So this is the only reason why I told you guys go and explore. So if you explore, you will learn so many things here. You might see, okay, type conversion it will do. It means number string will be converted into number. Then suddenly you will get how string is converted into number. Then you will go to the Google and you will search how to convert string into number in JavaScript. Now that curiosity you will get. Okay, that interest you will get to do the things. Then you will start exploring the things. Now, once you start exploring the things, you will learn more things. You will learn more things. This is the only reason why I say certain concepts go and explore. Because if you explore that one concept, to understand that one concept, you have to explore multiple concepts. Now, if you remember, I have told you guys, go and explore bitwise operator. So can I know how many of you explored that bitwise operator? I told I will not teach bitwise operator. I will give you recording. But is there anybody who went and searched what is bitwise operator, how it works? Okay, this is the mistake we are doing as a student. We are still in the student mindset. If you are in the developer mindset, you will not do this mistake. If you think that something you encountered new thing, something new you have encountered, you will just go and do research. So I would recommend you guys to follow this practice. Whenever you are giving interview for any technology, suddenly if you find some question which you never explored or which you don't know the answer, after the interview, go and do the research. So as a student, or like you're not able to answer to that question, or you did not answer perfectly the way it should be answered. In that case, go and do the research at that time only. So there are a lot of chances that in next interview, you might get same question. You might get same question. So there was one case when I was student, I was just exploring like this Google. Suddenly I found one question, some tricky questions in JavaScript. And I was just going through that. And when I was going through that, I just came to know that I don't know this is how JavaScript works. And on the same day, in the evening, I was having interview. Really, in that interview, that person asked the same question which I was browsing. And I spent nearly 1 hour or 2 hours to understand those tricks, like how it works exactly. Then in the interviews, it was benefit for me because I was able to explain, because I was done the research. Let's imagine if I skipped that part, then obviously I used to get failed in that interview because I was not able to answer that. So this kind of situation can come. So follow this practice, guys. Okay. Now tell me how many of you explored bitwise operator. Now to understand this bitwise operator, first of all, you guys have to understand what are binary number. Anybody have the knowledge what is binary number? What is binary number? If I ask you what is the binary number of 20, can you find the binary number of 20? Can you find the binary number of 20? Charan, Sharanya. Can you guys convert binary into decimal? Or can you convert decimal number into binary. Can you perform? Do you know how to add, subtract, multiply, divide two binary numbers? Now, this is not the concept of JavaScript. Okay, this is not the concept of JavaScript. This concept is not implemented in JavaScript. JavaScript concept is bitwise operator, but internally bitwise operator required this knowledge. Now, this is not the concept of JavaScript. Now, if you don't know this concept, you will not understand bitwise operator. And I was pretty sure that 80% of people, maybe 90% of people don't know about all this. And if I start directly explaining the bitwise operator, it will waste your time. It will waste my time also. So tell me, how many of you know the answers for all these questions? Can you guys ping on the chat? So I just got 2 people answer, 3, 4. Okay, can you guys tell me, if I have 2 binary numbers, 1 and 1, if I add these 2 binary numbers, what will be the result? I just got 3 answers. Okay, so there are just 5 to 6 people who are able to answer. Okay, now this is the reason. Now what I need to do, just to make you understand bitwise operator, first of all, I have to explain binary number. I have to explain how it converts. All these things I have to explain. Then I have to explain bitwise operator. Bitwise operator. Okay, this is the only reason I did not explain all these things in the class, because it will just waste our time. Okay. Yeah. So let's come back here. So apart from this, apart from operators, in our last session, we have explored control statement, right? In that we have just explored if. We have just explored if. There is one more control statement called else. One more control statement called else. Okay. Now, what is this else? Now, this else will work with the if. Okay. So, for example, if your if is working something like this, if you will have some condition here, then you will open that block, if block, and you will write some statements here. So, yesterday we know that if this condition became true, whatever condition you will write, if that condition returns true, then only whatever statements you are writing inside this block will get executed. Or else, if the condition is returning false, in that case, the block of statement or the set of statements you have written in the block will not execute. Now, sometimes we might get a requirement where we might want to execute 2 different set of statements based on condition. If condition is true, I want to execute first set of statements. If condition is false, I want to execute next set of statements, second set of statements. Okay, let's imagine you have 2 set of statements. This is one set of statement. You have one more set of statement. Now, let's assume you have one condition here. You have one condition here. Now, my requirement is, if this condition became true, then I want to execute this set of statements. I want to execute this set of statements if condition is true. If condition is false, in that case, I want to execute this set of statements. I want to execute this set of statements. So how to manage this thing? How to manage this thing? So this type of scenarios you can manage using if and else control statements. You can manage using if and else control statements. So what you can do? You can create one if block. After if block, you can start with else block. You can start with else block. Now this is the syntax you have to follow. You have to write if block. Inside this, you have to write condition. And inside this if block, you can write all the set of statements here. In else block also, you can write some set of statements. Now, whatever condition you will write, if this condition returns true, in that case, whatever you have written inside this if block, that will execute. Whatever you have written inside if block, only those part will execute. This else part will be ignored. It will be just ignored. Suppose if your condition became false, in that case, whatever you have written in the else block, that part will execute. Whatever you have written in the else part, that part will execute. That's it. This is how your if and else will work. If I go back and if I just create one file, if else.js, suppose I am creating function find even odd. Okay. Now what I want to do, I want to create a function. To that function, I want to pass one number. Whenever I call this function, I want to pass one number. Like it can be 100, it can be 57. I can pass anything. Now, based on this number, I have to find out whether this number is even number or odd number. If this number is even, I want to print in my console, the given number is even number. If this number is odd, in my console, I want to print the given number is odd. So now here you have a situation where you need to print on only one message, whether either it is even or odd. So now if I'm calling this function and if I'm passing one argument, I have to take one parameter. So I'm saying here value. Now here I can use the control statement called if else to get this kind of scenario, to finish this kind of task. Like how I will write if. Now here I need to write the condition. What is that condition? How to check whether the given value is even or odd? So for that, we will take our value. This value we will divide with 2. And whatever remainder it will return, that remainder we will compare with 0. That remainder we will compare with 0. If this condition, if this entire condition became true, then we can conclude that the data what we have stored inside this parameter is an even number. So simply here I will write console.log and I will say given number is even. Given number is even. Suppose this condition became false. This condition became false. In that case, what I need to do? I need to print given number is odd. So how to print? After this if, start with else and just print here console.log of given number is odd. Given number is odd. That's it. Now just execute it. Node if else. Now see, it is saying that given number is odd because we are passing 57. Now if I pass 54, now it is saying that given number is even. Given number is even. Given number is even. Okay. So this is how now we can call this function one more time. I can call any number of time. Now here I am passing 57. Here I am passing 99 like this. Now let me re-execute this file. Now see, given number is even, odd, odd. Okay, like this, you can write multiple statements. I'm just writing one statement. You can write multiple statements and you can perform the operation. Okay. So the use cases we will be learning in the future sessions of React or somewhere. Here we are just going to learn the concept and how it works. So in JavaScript, we will try to focus on concept and how it works. Okay. So now let's come back here. Apart from this, we have one more control statement, that is else if. Something called else if. Now, if using if else, we can check only one condition. Here we can check only one condition. Either we can do this or this or this. If you want to check multiple conditions, if you have multiple things, for example, you have multiple set of statements. You have statement 1, you have statement 2, you have statement 3. Now your requirement is, first you want to check one condition. If this condition is true, then only you want to check one more condition. If that second condition is also true, then you want to execute some set of statement. So for example, let's suppose this first statement is true. If first statement is first condition is true, I want to execute this set of statements. If my first condition is false, in that case, I want to execute this set of statements. I want to execute this set of statements. I want to execute this set of statements only if this condition is false and this second condition is true. If this condition is true, in that case, I want to execute this set of statements. So like this, if you want to write multiple conditions, then we go for else if. Else if. Now the else if will work little bit different. You have to know the syntax as well. The syntax is something like this. First, it will start with if. First if block. Here you can have some set of statements. Okay. Now inside if, you can write some condition here. You can write some condition. After if, you have to start with else if. You have to start with else if. Else space if. Okay, you cannot start else, you have to start with else if. And else if syntax will be something like this. Here also we can write some condition. Okay, for example, condition 2, here I am saying condition 1. Like this, we can add any number of else ifs. We can add any number of else ifs. After that, at the end, once you have done with all your else if, then you have to add here else. You have to add here else. Okay, now you can just write here also some set of statements. Here you can write some set of statements. Now here also I can add that set of statements. Here also I can add set of statements. Okay, here can be condition 3. Here we can have something like condition 3. Now how it works, let's try to understand. So whenever you write this kind of control statement, first it will check this condition. First it will check this condition. If this condition is true, okay, if this condition is true, in that case, this if block will get executed. Whatever you have written in the if block, that will get executed. Whatever you have written in the if block, that entire thing will get executed, and all the remaining things will be ignored. All the remaining things will be ignored. This is the scenario 1. If your condition became true, then whatever you have written inside the if block, that everything will get executed, remaining things will get ignored. Okay, this is the scenario 1. Now scenario 2. Let's assume that the condition 1 became false. Condition 1 became false. So whenever condition 1 became false, in that case, it will go to the next if else. It will check this condition. It will check this condition. If this condition became true, in that case, this else if block will get executed. Whatever you have written inside this else if, only that part will get executed, and remaining all the things will get ignored. This is the scenario 2. Now scenario 3. Let's suppose condition 1 is false. Let's suppose condition 2 is also false. Then it will go to the condition 3. If condition 3 is true, in that case, it will execute this block. This is the scenario 3. Scenario 4. If condition 1 became false, condition 2 is also false. Condition 3 is also false. After that, we don't have any else if, so we have only else. In that case, it will execute else block. And we can have any number of else if. We can have any number of else if in between if and else. We can have any number of else if in between if and else. Here I have just added 2 else if. You can add 100 else if. How many else if you want, you can add that thing. But everything will work in this sequence only. So condition 1 is false, then only it will go to the condition 2. If condition 2 is false, then only it will go to the condition 3. If condition 1 is true, it will just execute if, it will ignore everything. If condition 1 is false, condition 2 is true, then it will just execute only the second block. Remaining all the things will be ignored. So same story will be followed for each and everything. Understood how if, else if and else is working? Is it clear for everyone, or you got confused, or you did not understand? Okay, now I want to write a function to wish some message. I want to just wish some message, like maybe good morning, good afternoon, something like that. So here I will just add else if .js. So I'm creating one function wish. Now to this function, I will be passing one argument. Like suppose if I pass gm, then I want to print good morning Kabir. If I pass ga, I want to print good afternoon Kabir. If I pass ge, I want to print good evening Kabir. If I pass gn, I want to print good night Kabir. So this is how I want to print something like this. So here we need to check multiple conditions, right, based on our parameter value. So here I will just take some like message, and here I will write the condition. If my message in this, if the value is equals to, If the value is triple equals to good morning, in that case, simply in console.log, you print good morning, Kabir. If this condition is false, then check else if this message is equals to good afternoon, nothing but GA. If it is true, in that case, what you need to do, you have to just print here good afternoon, Kabir. Else if I want to check one more condition, else if message is equals to GE, then I just need to print here good evening, Kabir. Same thing, I want to check one more, else if the message is equals to good night, in that case I want to print good night, Kabir. If I am passing some different value which is not equals to GM, GA, GE, GN, in that case just I want to print nothing to wish. Here I just want to print there is nothing to wish, Kabir. Okay, now see, I am passing GN, and if I just execute it, now it is saying me good night, Kabir. Now if I pass here GA, okay, now if I execute, what it will print? If I execute, what it will print? Guys, can you guess what it will print if I execute? I am passing wish GA. This is my logic. If message is equals to GA. I just got one answer. Good afternoon, good afternoon. Okay. I will say it will print good night, Kabir only. It will print good night, Kabir only. Now it is printing good night, Kabir only. Anybody can guess why it is printing good night, Kabir? I am passing GA. I am expecting here good afternoon, Kabir, but still it is printing good night, Kabir. Because I did not save my file. Okay, there is nothing about double equals to or triple equals to. Okay. Yeah. So I just changed my code, but I did not save my file. How you will come to know you did not save your file? Here you are seeing white dot. Are you able to see your white dot? So that white dot represents your file is not saved. Okay. Whenever you do some changes in your file, make sure you are saving it. So control yes. Now my file is saved. Now you won't see that white dot. Now if you execute, it will print good afternoon. Okay. So here I just wanted to make you understand that whenever you do some changes in your file, make sure you are saving your file before you execute it. Before you execute your JavaScript file, save that file. Now, if I pass here some random like this, in that case, it will print there is nothing to wish, Kabir. There is nothing to wish, Kabir. Okay, else. Is it clear, guys, how else if is working? Okay, now similar to else if, we have something called switch. We have one more control statement called switch. Now using switch also, we can check multiple conditions. We can check multiple things. But the syntax of switch is little different. So something like this. Syntax of switch. So here we have to write this switch keyword, open parenthesis, close parenthesis, open curly brace, close curly brace. And inside this curly braces, we have to write something called case. Case space. Here you have to pass some value in the form of string. You have to pass some value here. Then colon, then open curly brace, close curly brace. Like this. Okay, let me just give some different color here. This is called case. And like this, we can write any number of cases. We can write any number of cases. Okay, here we can write any number of cases. Like this. And inside this parenthesis, we have to pass some value. Okay, you should not pass condition. Here we will be passing some value. Now this value, whatever value you will pass, that value, it will try to match with each and every case. It will try to match it with each and every case. First, it will try to match with this case. If this value and this value matches, whatever you will write inside this curly braces, that code will get executed. Whatever you will write. Here, you can write your set of statements. Here, we can write some set of statements. Okay, here also we can write some set of statements. Here also we can write some set of statements. Now, whatever value you will pass here, if that value matches with any case, that particular case will execute. First, it will check with the first case. If this case matches, then this case will execute. If the case value is not matching, then it will check next case. If next case value is matching, okay, then it will execute second case. If the case is not matching, it will go to the third case. If third case matches, third case will execute. So what your switch will do, whatever value you have, that value it will match with the case value. If it matches, then this case will execute. If that doesn't match, it will go to the next case. If it matches, it executes. If it doesn't match, it will go to the next case. So like this, you can write any number of cases. Inside your switch. Okay, so let's see one basic example. Switch.js. So same message, same function I will write. Function wish. Now I will remove this code. Now inside this, I will use switch. I will pass this message here. I just need to pass the value, so I am passing message. Now here I will implement case. Case 1. If it is matches with GM, in that case, you simply print console.log of good morning, Kabir. Good morning, Kabir. Okay, I will just copy this case. I will write one more case. If it is GA, here good afternoon, Kabir. I will write one more case. If it is GE, here good evening, Kabir. Okay, here I will write one more case. GN. If it is GN, good night, Kabir. So how many cases I have written totally? case 1, case 2, case 3, case 4. Totally 4 cases. Now I will call this wish here. I will pass GM. If I pass GM and if I try to execute it, node switch. Now see, it is printing good morning, Kabir, good afternoon, Kabir, good evening, Kabir, good night, Kabir. Now why? Because here we have to add one more statement called break. Okay, we have to add something called break. So what is that break? I will explain. So let me add this break. For after every case, add one break statement. Add one break statement. Yeah. Now if I execute, re-execute it. Now see, it is saying only good morning, Kabir. Now what is this break? Now break is also one statement. Whenever this break gets executed, then it will come out of that loop. It will come out of the loop. So once break executes, remaining statements will not execute. Remaining statements will not execute. It will come off that loop. Or I can say it will come out of that block, not loop. I have to use the word block. It will come out of that block. So if it encounters break, it will come out of the block. It will execute this part. Afterwards, it will encounter break. Once it encounters break, it will come out of the block. Suppose if I am not adding break here, in that case, what happens? It will try to match with case 1. Case 1 is true. It will execute case 1. After that, you don't have any break. So it will not check case 2. Directly, it will execute case 2. Directly, it will execute case 2. And after that, you have break. So once it encounters break, it will come out of this switch block. It will come out of this switch block. Now see here, I removed this break. Now if I execute, 2 statements will print. Good morning, Kabir. Good afternoon, Kabir. Why? After good morning, I did not added that break. So here we have to add that break statement. So break statement will terminate. It will terminate your execution of your switch block. It will terminate the execution of your switch block. So after every case, it is recommended to add break. After every case, it is recommended to add break. Here also we can add break. Now, if I pass any value here, suppose if I pass GM, it will execute good night. Good night. If I pass here GE, it will execute good evening. So the difference between your else if and switch, one of the differences, in switch we will pass the value, in else if we will pass the condition, we will add the condition. In switch you should not add a condition here. You should not add a condition. You will pass the value. Based on value, if you want to execute certain set of statements, go for switch. Based on condition, if you want to execute certain set of statements, go with else if. Go with else if. This is the second difference. The first difference, we have to pass the conditions in else if. Inside this switch, you have to pass value. Second difference, if you want to execute certain set of statements based on certain condition, go for else if. If you want to execute certain set of statements based on some value, then go with switch. Go with switch. Suppose if I am passing here some random value. Some random value. Now this is not matching with my any case. It is not matching with my any case. In that case, nothing will print. Nothing will print. But let's suppose if my case values are not matching. If my case values are not matching, I want to execute some other statement. If no case matches, then I want to execute some statement. In that case, you can go with something called default. You can go with something called default. Okay, here we have to add. console.log, I will say no wish message. Now, when default will get executed? When default will get executed if no case matches. If no case matches, then only default will get executed. Now see, in this case here, I get no wish message. So here you can pass something called default. Okay. Is it clear for everyone? What is the difference between if else and switch? And how switch works? Okay. So everything will come step by step, guys. If I'm explaining about the switch, try to focus only on the switch. Don't try to think more. Like I'm explaining you switch. You guys are asking me what is the difference between switch and if else. Just wait, just wait. I will explain that also. Okay, if you think something, you will lose your concentration, and that is the problem for you only. You will miss the things. You will miss some small things, and suddenly that will be the problem in future. So that is the reason whenever I'm explaining concept A, focus on concept A. Don't think about concept B. We will come to B also. But let's learn first A. That is the reason I am completely against asking the questions while I am explaining. Like once I have done explaining the things, then you ask the question. Okay. So this is how your switch works. So in tomorrow's session, we will explore something called loops. Now, once we have done with loops, we are done with the basics of JavaScript. Okay, maybe in the first 30 minutes, I will finish loops. Now, once I have done with loops, then I will start with one of the most important topic in the terms of understanding React and Angular also, that is DOM and DOM manipulation. We will understand what is DOM and what is DOM manipulation. Very, very important. So once we have done with the loops, so loops will take 30 minutes, not more than that. And afterwards, we will start with DOM. And now in the DOM, we will see how to integrate HTML and JavaScript. Now, till now, everything we have seen in the terminal, Now we know what are variables, we know what are data types, we know what are operators, we know what are control statements, we know what are loops. We will come to know what are loops. We know what are functions, we know what are objects, we know what are arrays. Now all these concepts we will mix and learn the next set of concepts. Now while learning another set of concepts, all these concepts we will use. So one of the most important topic we are going to learn, that is DOM and DOM manipulation. Now using DOM and DOM manipulation, you will understand how to create dynamic user interface. You will learn how to create dynamic user interface. Okay, so that we will see from tomorrow. So, and already I have told you, I have started with Node.js. In case if you guys are interested to learn Node.js, you guys can join at 9 AM. Okay, if you want link, you guys can ping on the chat. I will provide the link. And already at 7:30, we have started with React. Okay, if you want links, just ping on the chat. I will provide you the links. Constructor you will learn once we start with object-oriented programming. Pratmesh, constructor we will learn in the object-oriented programming. Pandu, you will learn that you will come in coming session. Okay, I will show you how to use not operator while writing the condition. Swati, just give me a minute. I will provide. Yeah, so I have added the links, guys. If you want, you guys can just check that links. Okay, I have added the links for both the things, React.js and Node, whichever you want, you guys can pick up. Yeah, guys, if you don't have any doubts, you can drop. Let's meet tomorrow and let's explore remaining set of functions.